Hi, I'm Jonathan, and this is Krista, and we're here today to help you be a better landlord. All right, today we want to talk about owner financing. This is something that comes up a lot with investors. We hear about it a lot from our users. What in the world is it?
Well, it is an option for folks who want to forego a traditional mortgage when they are buying property. So literally, you go as the buyer, you find a seller who is willing to finance your purchase, and you pay them monthly instead of a bank.
Sounds great. Is this a way to bypass high interest rates right now?
Yes, it is a way to bypass high interest rates now, but there are definitely pieces to consider in this process that are very different from your traditional mortgage. So, for example, typically with an owner financing deal, you are making payments over the course of 5 to 10 years on your amortization schedule that you and the seller agree to. It's at a fixed rate. At the end of that 5 to 10 years, you're going to owe a balloon payment for the remaining balance.
Gotcha.
So quite a bit different than a 30-year fixed mortgage rate.
Definitely, yeah. And that balloon payment, it's quite a bit, right? It's the rest of the whatever loan amount you had agreed to.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a sizable amount most of the time. Buyers can opt to try and refinance at that point. That might be a best strategy if the interest rates are lower than what they are today, for example. But it's hard to say at this point what the rates will look like in 5 to 10 years. So there is definitely risk involved.
All right, so let's start at the top. Say I'm a buyer and I'm interested in owner financing. How do I find somebody who would be willing to work with me on a deal like this?
If you've never done it yourself, my biggest recommendations are to use your team. You're going to want to talk to your real estate agent. If you have a local real estate attorney, definitely talk to them. They will probably be your best asset in this case because you're going to want them to review any kind of contracts you go through before you sign them, because things can get a little bit complex in that realm when you are negotiating this kind of thing with a seller directly.
Yeah, this isn't something you just write on a napkin and have them sign it, right?
No, not this time.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You need something like a promissory note or a deed or otherwise a rent-to-own contract. But it needs some very specific language in there, like the amortization schedule, any kind of penalties for late payments, tax implications, and what you need to know in that realm, because it can get kind of sticky depending on where you are. So definitely get your real estate attorney in the mix. A good one worth their salt might already know folks who actively undergo and finance these deals, so they might be able to connect you to people who have properties available for you to do this. Mm-hmm. Also, this type of loan is really popular in rural areas, so if you live somewhere that's rural and you're looking for property around town, you might be in an even better spot than someone looking in the city.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so for the sellers who are doing this owner financing, is their property paid off already?
Typically, yes. That is the cleanest way to do it, where the seller owns the property outright, good to go. Now, it is possible to still undergo one of these deals if they haven't fully paid off their mortgage. The buyer would then be making mortgage payments on behalf of the seller, carrying through on their agreement until it's all the way paid off. Whether that ends with a balloon payment or not really depends on how much you have remaining as your balance. But yes, if the seller has fully paid off the property, it makes things a lot easier for everybody involved.
So this all sounds great, but let's use some actual numbers to illustrate what we're talking about.
Sure. So considering owner financing here, let's say you have a property that's worth $250,000. Okay. You're the seller, I'm the buyer. I can get a loan from my bank for $200,000, okay? So I'm still $50,000 short. I come to you and I say, hey, Jonathan, what if we get into a legal contract where you finance the $50,000 difference for me? So I'd be making monthly payments to you. That's steady income on your end.
Yeah.
And of course, we could decide in our deal if there needs to be a balloon payment at the end of our amortization schedule.
That makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk pros and cons. On the buyer side, what are the pros?
So as a buyer, you're going to benefit from owner financing because it's a shorter processing time for the deal. You've cut out the banks. There's no underwriting. Also, typically, it's a lot more flexible than what you would see when working with a traditional lender. You have a lower down payment, typically around 15% versus 20% with banks and other lending institutions. And you can really work with your seller to determine what kind of amortization schedule works for you. It is an agreement you are both coming to, so while they have a bit of the upper hand because it's their property, you're both sitting down at that table, hopefully with an attorney, to work out something that is good long term, or at least in the long enough term for your short term loan.
Yeah, that makes sense. On the buyer side, what are the cons?
So the balloon payment is the thing that comes to mind for me as the first big con to consider, right? Because at the end of that 5 to 10 year schedule, you're going to owe a substantial amount of money. If you are planning for that, you should be good to go. If something happens or you're otherwise kind of losing track of that balloon payment at the very end, you could be scrambling, and that will just be very stressful to try and whip up, casually $100,000 or more in the span of a few months when you need to pay it off.
So let's say that the buyer has gone the owner financing route, but has not planned accordingly for that balloon payment. It comes due, they don't have the money. What do they do at that point?
So you can go to a traditional lender at that point and say, hey, I have this money that I need to pay to this person. Here are the details of the deal that we've enacted between us. They might be willing to help you. You can also try to refinance the mortgage on the property itself and get a better rate, use that money for the remaining payment. Hopefully everything goes swimmingly.
Okay.
It's tricky though. That's why it's really important to make sure you know what you're going to owe and to plan accordingly. In terms of other cons, again, it's just the complexity of this kind of deal means that you really want someone who's a professional in the mix with you, like your real estate attorney.
Okay, so let's switch over to the seller side. What are the pros for the seller doing this kind of deal?
Yeah, so as the seller, you get to dictate most of the terms or at least work with the person who you are selling to. That's a great plus. It's a good way to get property off of your back and have someone taking care of the costs without having to go out and necessarily do a bunch of work with a bank. It's faster for sellers as well. Additionally, when you have someone who's making regular payments, that is a steady stream of income. So that's something that they can count on as a seller. You have someone making payments to you every month. And you might be able to get a higher payout from a buyer in this situation than you would on the traditional market, depending on how the deal shakes out and especially depending on that balloon payment at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be really profitable for the seller.
Yeah.
So what about the cons for the seller?
Sure. So as I've mentioned a few times, this is a very complex legal deal. So as the seller, you want to make sure you understand everything. You have all of the terms spelled out, from penalties to expectations of the person who is going to be enacting this with you. And, it is a risk when you take on this kind of financing because you are in charge of vetting that person's background. So you really need to be doing your due diligence, checking credit scores, checking their lines of credit, really ensuring that they have the means of paying this off before you sign in on the contract.
Absolutely. Is that where a screening report could come in?
That is definitely where a screening report could come in. You want to make sure, again, that you're getting a comprehensive view of this person's credit history, particularly looking out for any kind of bad lines of credit, things that they have missed payments on, etc., because the complexity involved with this kind of case means when someone starts missing payments, it gets sticky quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so as a buyer, should I be looking for owner financing?
If you're willing to take on the risk and it makes sense for you and your portfolio, I'd say yes. Go forward with caution, make sure you talk to your team, and get on the same page with your seller from the get-go. Get everything in writing, get everything noted and signed, and you should be in a healthy spot.
How about as a seller?
If you want to try and turn around a property quickly, if you feel comfortable taking on the financial burden and having someone make regular payments to you, and lastly, if you have some kind of software to screen folks so that you can fully understand what their financial background is, I would say try it out. Again, talk to your local real estate attorney, vet the pros and cons and tax implications for your local area. But this is definitely a useful way to get around the traditional system and make the most of a property that you own.
So if somebody is buying a property using owner financing and they intend to be the landlord to rent out this property, what do they need to know?
Ooh, such a good question. I would say that they definitely need to make sure that they have the terms in their lease ironclad for what happens in terms of penalties for late payments, etc. Also, as the landlord, you are going to want to make sure you have at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in savings before you embark on this kind of thing. Because if your tenant starts getting behind on rent payments, that will very quickly bungle the deal that you have going on with the seller, and it could make things very complicated. So be sure that you have the wiggle room financially to take care of any missed payments. Another way to do that, of course, is to make sure that you are screening your tenants as thoroughly as possible. Have high standards for this kind of thing because you do not want it to get off the rails and mess up, everything you have going on in your portfolio.
Absolutely. And this also seems like a really good situation for our rent estimate tool.
Yes.
If somebody is considering a property and using owner financing, to use our rent estimate tool to figure out, could I actually set the rent to a point that would help cover those payments and make it cash flow positive?
Absolutely. Use all of the tools at your disposal to make sure that this is a good deal for you before you jump in.
All right, Krista. Well, thank you for walking us through owner financing. And if you out there have ever used owner financing or have anything else you'd like to add, drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.